everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to our latest 15 for 4:30. I am Heather Hunter of Synergize, and I am here with representatives from both the Center of the Performing Arts and our beneficiary for this month, which is the Carmel Youth Assistance Program. And I want to spotlight first the Center for the Performing Arts. We owe them a huge thank you this month. They are our impact sponsor for this event. It is going to be hosted here on March 28th from 4:30 to 6:30. So I want to introduce Jeff McDermott, and he's going to tell you a little bit about the Center of the Performing Arts, what you guys are and your role here.
Sure. Well, thanks again. We're really excited to have Synergize here for this event, and the Center for the Performing Arts really is, in my view, the center of the community, and all things around the community really should start here. In my opinion, we have a mission to engage and inspire all of Central Indiana with enriching arts experiences, and we try to do that with everything we do. That's regardless of whether it is, a performance, a world-class performance, or an educational program or event like Synergize is having here. So we think it can be really enriching and something that the community can be very proud of.
Yeah, we're really excited to have the 4:30 meetup here. We've never done one here before. The place is beautiful, so we're just super excited for that. And Jeff, I know you have kind of a history with the Carmel Youth Assistance Program. What inspired you to want to kind of help us out with this event and have the Center for the Performing Arts be the impact sponsor?
Well, I really do have a history with youth assistance actually throughout Hamilton County. In my prior life, before I became the president and CEO here at the center, I was a practicing attorney with Krieg DeVault, and Krieg DeVault got very involved with youth assistance starting in Westfield, where youth assistance was sort of born here in Hamilton County, and then branched out to Noblesville, Carmel, Fishers, and other communities. My law firm actually was involved in setting up on a nonprofit basis, on a pro bono basis, the various youth assistance organizations around the county. I became one of the founding or initial board members in Westfield, even though I lived in Carmel, but that was the only youth assistance that was available at the time, and I just thought it was a great program, a great purpose. There were so many kids throughout Indiana who do need youth assistance, who need mentors, who are at risk of making difficult decisions, the wrong decisions, one of the things I've thought about Hamilton County is a very prosperous county, very vibrant county, but like any place, it has children and families that have significant problems and significant challenges, and maybe because of the prosperity of this county, those kids are even a little harder to find and a little more invisible, and I think it's a great program here that has been, so well sponsored by so many throughout the various communities, the Hamilton County judges, the mayors, and I think we really have a lot to be thankful for the support that it gets.
And I also have Melissa and Melanie, M&M, I just learned, from the Carmel Youth Assistance Program. Can you two talk a little bit about the history of the program and where it started? I know it was founded in 2015. How are both of you involved? How long have you been involved? What's your story with it? It's like 4 questions wrapped up into one, but.
So Carmel started in 2015, and kind of like you mentioned, it really started in Westfield about 2008. Mayor Andy Cook and I believe it was Judge Steve Nation at the time and Judge Paul Felix said, there's so many kids coming into our courtrooms that really don't need to be here, and they could have gone down a way better path had they had the proper services put in place. So they started doing a bunch of research. They found this youth assistance program in Michigan, did their due diligence and brought it here. And the goal was to actually keep kids out of the juvenile justice system. That was the overarching goal. And they did that by connecting them with an early intervention advocate, which that's what I am. That's my formal title. It's kind of made up, but that's what we call ourselves.
Sounds great.
Yeah. But we are like the concierge of resources. So we get referrals from mostly the school social workers here in Carmel, but they can also come from like the prosecutor's office. Police officers can refer, other like service providers can refer. So we get those referrals and we just work with the families and the youth to really get them where they need to go, depending on what they need, their level of need, what they're capable of. We'll hold their hand as much as they want or let them fly as much as they want. I just tell people I'm here to make your life easier and whatever that looks like for you.
I'm actually on the board as an ex officio member on behalf of Mayor Brainerd. So I was one of the founding members when the Carmel Youth Assistance Program started in 2015. So I've grown with the program, seen a lot of businesses and individuals become very involved with the program, and Carmel is so fortunate and lucky to have organizations and companies here in our community that want to give back and have the resources to give back. So we are very fortunate, and having Melissa and Maggie and Emily and our employees of the Youth Assistance Program, they're like what keeps it going, right? And so we're very fortunate to have the help and the time that they spend on these kids and these families. I've enjoyed being on the board. There's a lot of community members that have been off and on the board that's been phenomenal with fundraising and getting the awareness out in the community. I also sit on basically the Carmel Gala committee. I am the chair of that committee, so it's our annual fundraiser every single year. It's usually the last Saturday of April every year, and Ritz Charles this year, April 29th, and so we're always looking to get supporters that way too, and hope that they stay with us throughout the year, whether that looks like mentoring, volunteering for, summer meals, tutoring, whatever it might be. We hope those connections are made at that event and leading up to that event with the companies and the people that support Youth Assistance Program.
The beauty, I think, of youth assistance is our funding structure. So I'd say probably 95% of all of our donations funding goes straight to families and programming. So the way we're structured, we don't really have to worry about overhead expense. So any type of donations people give, we're sending kids to camp, we're buying shoes, we're getting a mattress, we're paying for counseling, we're doing all of those things. It's not going towards overhead, which is kind of cool.
The reason we are able to put that funding directly to services is because of the support of the City of Carmel, Mayor Brainerd, and then also Hamilton County. They have been huge supporters monetarily to help pay the intervention advocates, their administration, and we're hoping that funding continues year to year so that they can have that 95% of donations go directly to the services.
And we're actually, youth assistance is actually technically a part of the Superior Court. So when the judges created this program, they wanted us to be under them because it really reduced red tape. And it made our lives a lot easier, and it really reduced barriers of, all the logistics of working with kids. So if we get a referral from like the prosecutor's office, we don't have to jump through 1,000 hoops to figure out what's going on. We just call them up and say, hey, give me the scoop. And same thing with the schools. It just developed this really great relationship where there are no barriers to providing services. As long as the families are on board, we're on board. So that's a huge kind of piece. It shows that this is actually a really cool public-private partnership, and it works, and it's been working for years.
What are all the ways that you offer youth assistance, and how can people kind of chip in either financially or with their time or talents?
Yeah. When it comes to giving your time, the biggest thing that we always need is mentoring. So we are really only the direct service provider for two things. It's tutoring and mentoring. Mentoring is, there's always a need. We have 5 kids who are on the wait list right now who've been on the wait list for a while. It's hard to find mentors and keep them. And with the mentoring program, we ask that the youth and the mentors spend an hour a week together for a year. So that's always our number one way we want people to get involved. But even on a smaller level and a little bit less of a commitment, because 1 year of your life is like kind of scary to give up. If you guys want to volunteer as like a group or an organization, something like that, we're always willing to like work together to figure out what makes sense for someone, whether that's doing a drive or hosting an event for our families, or mentoring, or a lunch and learn. There's kind of like an infinite amount of opportunities and ways people can get involved.
One of the things that I always saw about youth assistance also was that it is so community-based, so that youth assistance in Carmel may have different priorities or different needs than youth assistance in Westfield or Noblesville or
Yeah.
Fishers. The other ways of, speaking of ways to give, I know for a couple of years, and I think it was through Carmel Youth Assistance, not Westfield, we adopted families at Christmas, and there were opportunities to do that. And that was eye-opening. First of all, it was a great way to give, but it was also eye-opening to deliver gifts and food to a home or an apartment and walk in and realize, boy, and we would take our kids and realize, boy, there are people in this community that are really challenged, and it's important to know that, it's important to experience, and it's important to reach out and help. Yeah. But even, I have not served as a mentor, but I know what an important thing it is to do, but providing assistance to mentors. We would, we were fortunate enough to be season ticket holders for Colts games, and we would routinely donate tickets to a game every year for mentors to take their mentees, their kids to a Colts game. And it may not have been a great game, but as far as that
they had the time of their life.
As far as they knew, they were at the Super Bowl, because it was an experience that they'd never had before, and what a great.
You mean that time they lost the biggest lead in
exactly.
NFL history?
Those are good ones to donate.
Yeah,
but the children, the kids just loved it. The mentor, a great way to help them. If you don't have the time or aren't able to take the time to be a mentor, do something to help the mentors serve that role.
Yeah. It sounds to me like a person or a corporation could come in and work with you to figure out something creative to do to really enrich the program because of all that freedom that you're talking about, which is a really cool thing.
Anybody can be referred to the program. Obviously, they have to accept the help and want
it's voluntary,
to help. There's no forceful government saying you must
comply with services or we're not talking to you.
And so what's nice about that is if your teacher, your principal, anybody in the schools, it could be one of your peers in schools that could refer a child that appears to have a need. The courts, police officers, firefighters, anybody in the community could refer a child and a family to the youth assistance program. And we hope that helps prevent them from falling through the cracks, right? Because we want that to feel like available to anybody, right? So it's kind of like that no limit concierge service that we have for our families that not a lot of communities have. And we have so many resources in our community that people don't know about or how to reach those resources or where to find them. And that's where Melissa and Maggie come in, and it's been amazing to see them work with so many kids. We get more referrals every single year.
We got like 10 last week, and I thought I was going to cry myself to sleep every night.
Oh,
it's a lot.
And it's like you get torn because like it breaks my heart, but at the same time, it warms my heart because I think the more and more people can open up for help and not feel like they're losing their pride, right? Because I know that's one thing with the stigma with Carmel is like, you live in this amazing community.
Why do you have this program
here? Why would you have any issues? Well, sometimes that could be the cause of your issue. Being in a community and having the pressure to be a certain somebody, to have a certain job or money income, and so we hope that creating more awareness will get people out there referring families or even maybe referring yourself, and you're crying for help, you're just not really sure where to go. And so that's what I really love about the youth assistance.
So what are some of the needs, like if somebody's watching this and they're like, oh, I think I know somebody who might benefit from this, but I'm not really sure if it applies. What are some of the common needs that people come in with that you're able to help with and have seen success through?
It's really broad, and that's kind of the beauty of youth assistance. It's kind of like anything under the sun that people need connected with, we will figure it out with them. If you think you know someone who might benefit from youth assistance, I would always encourage you to talk to the child school social worker first. Anyone can refer, you're 100% right, but sometimes the school social workers, they're kind of our gatekeepers, and they can sometimes connect those resources if it's kind of like an easy thing. But one big thing that we need is, or that we see as a need, is financial assistance. So whether that's food or clothing or utility assistance, rent assistance, We see that a lot, and those are things that we refer out to. So we call other partners to help get those things covered. And we really like to focus on pro-social, adult-led activities. So summer camp scholarships, getting someone signed up to play at Carmel Dad's Club, or something through the Monon, an art class, anything like that. We see a lot of need for kids who just don't feel connected. We live in this, gorgeous, huge community with so much to do, but there are still so many kids who just are struggling to connect to others. And I think that's probably some due to COVID. But that's a really big thing we need and that we see. Another interesting kind of piece that I think will be really shocking to most people, we have a lot of homeless families in this community. We have a lot of youth who are unaccompanied, which means they're on their own. They don't live with parents, they're couch hopping, they're on their own. 15% of our caseload last year was homeless.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big number. Right now, I think I have, at the high school, I think I have 5 students who are unaccompanied youth. So again, they're couch hopping, they're on their own, they're staying with someone until they say you can't stay here anymore. And that number has doubled since last year. So that's really prevalent.
Statistically, what do the numbers tell us about the Carmel Youth Assistance Program and the people that you're helping? And how is it affecting them?
Numbers tell us that kids need connected to adults. They need connected to positive adult-led activities, whether that's mentoring or summer camp. Anything that's going to enrich their lives and better them is really what kids are needing. And actually, when it comes to kind of making those connections and building those relationships through mentoring, most of our matches actually last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So even though it's a 1-year commitment, over half of our matches have been matched for 2 years or more. I think we have 4 that are on year 4 and year 5.
Wow.
So relationships has always been our number one way to combat any type of trauma a kid has been through. Research shows that you can give a kid 1,000 resources, but if they don't have relationships, none of it matters. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of why we're here doing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so important.
Yeah.
So there are 2 upcoming ways to support. One is the 4:30 meetup. It's on March 28th from 4:30 to 6:30. It'll be at the Center of the Performing Arts. We are so excited to feature the Carmel Youth Assistance Program, and you will be able to hear directly from them at the event. Tickets are available on Eventbrite. They're in the description of the video or the caption of the post. However you're watching this, you'll be able to access those. And then there's the Carmel Gala coming up on April 29th, was it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. And where can we find information and tickets for that?
carmelgala.org. You can order tickets, you can sign up for sponsorships, or just register for the silent auction, which is open to the public on that Monday, April 24th.
Awesome.
There will be a boozy ring toss.
Oh yeah, that's a popular
at
one.
the event. So
Yeah.
would
Buy my
recommend.
tickets.
Yeah. I don't know. You get like 3 tosses and you get to take home whatever bottle
it's like the adult
land on.
version of the carnival game where you're throwing
Like the 2
rings
liters.
at the 2 liters
Yeah.
or the Coke bottles, right? But instead of like Coke bottles, you get to win whatever bourbon or whiskey or wine your ring falls on. So it's kind of cool.
But
It
it's
is-
all for the kids.
It's all for the kids.
It is for the kids. But
And the adults.
sometimes you gotta appeal to the adults to
For the
get
kids.
the
Yes.
funding to support the kids. So
Exactly.
it all comes back. It's
It
a
all
circle.
makes sense.
Circle of life.
Win-win situation to me. Everybody
There
wins.
you go.
I win,
Absolutely.
the kids win, it's all good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Melanie, Jeff, Melissa, and we will hopefully see you on one of those dates to help support the Carmel Youth Assistance Program. Well, now I feel like we have to...
This video ain't properly done till everyone's had the crap hugged out of them.
Oh, boy.
And saving the best for last.
Oh, wow. I feel loved.